As the summer heat here in Phoenix continues on, it looks like there is no end in sight for the 100-degree weather here. The 99-degree average this summer breaks last year's record. And yesterday we broke the record for the number of 100-degree days or more, smashing the old record. Joining us now is Randy Cerveny, a climatologist from Arizona State University. And Randy, you were kind enough to point out before we were getting started that we actually continued the record today.
Yeah, we're gonna be saying that for the next few weeks is a new record-setting day, because we're going to still be 100 for probably at least the next week or 2 weeks. So if you are enjoying breaking records, we are going to keep on breaking records.
So I thought it couldn't get worse than last summer. So with all the 110-degree days. So what's going on here, Randy? What is and let me ask it this way. Is this what you anticipated? Did you think it would be as bad or worse than last summer?
No, I really did not anticipate this being this bad. But what this actually is a sign of is that our climate is changing. I'm old here, and I've been here for 40 years. And these last few summers are like nothing that we have experienced for decades. We haven't seen this kind of situation. And it's not just the growth of the cities. It is the change fundamental in climate, because we're seeing this not happening just in Phoenix, but we're seeing it in all over Arizona. Wickenburg, Wilcox, Flagstaff. I mean, they're not urbanized centers necessarily.
Yeah. So how would you characterize the monsoon season so far? I mean, I'll be an old guy here for a second too. I remember the days when monsoon, we'd have a huge storm in the afternoon, and then maybe the next day it would be sticky for sure, but it might still remain cloudy. Highs would be 92, 93 for maybe a day, maybe two if we're lucky. We have not had any days like that.
Yeah, this is actually, and people think, well, we just haven't had a monsoon. We've actually had a few monsoon thunderstorms, but they've not been the drenching storms that we've had in the past, where, like you said, we would get this big flood of water that would then knock down the temperatures for the next day. And what we're seeing is that that's going to continue, unfortunately. We're not going to have that cooling temperatures.
Yeah, we can look at this first graphic. Let's look at September. Now, September, these days at least, we don't expect September to cool off too much, but this looks pretty nasty.
Yeah, and what we're saying is that it doesn't cool off much, and we're expecting above normal temperatures. So our normal temperatures are still around 106, 107 degrees this time of year. Right. We're going to be up around that 110 range. We've set a record for the number of 110 days. We're going to keep breaking that record, I'm afraid, especially over this next few days.
So once we get into late September, is there, and I know this would indicate this is not going to happen, but in a normal September, do we have days where it starts to get where the normal temperature is upper 90s or no?
Well, what we expect to see is more thunderstorms, where we would have the cloud cover that would drop our temperatures down. But if we look at the monthly outlook for precipitation for this month, what we see is, unfortunately, that brown color again. We're not going to have the storms, the normal storms that we see in September. And that means, unfortunately, hot and dry are two unfortunate favorite words here in Arizona.
Now, Randy, this is where I play man of the people and ask about forecasting, because it's closer to an exact science than it used to be. But monsoons are very difficult to predict. So if we're lucky enough in a week or two to have a couple of afternoon storms, is it possible that maybe we're going to be closer to normal precipitation in September? Is there any chance of that?
There is a slight chance. I mean, what we always want to look at as we move in to September and then October is to see if the tropics are producing any Pacific hurricanes down off the coast of Mexico. And what we normally see towards September and October is that those storms work their way up. They die before they get to Arizona, but their moisture comes into us. Right now, unfortunately, there are no hurricanes in the Eastern Pacific.
All right, let's look at temps for the fall. Now, again, it's going to be hotter and drier, but...
And notice that we change colors to even a darker red, indicating still above normal temperatures for the fall. So we're not likely to see those moisture pulses from hurricanes. The pattern, we call it La Nina, is where the storms are going to be hitting up into Oregon and Washington, not coming down into Arizona.
So not even November, Randy?
Not even November, not even December. I mean, right now, we are in a situation where likely we're not going to see good rains until maybe next year.
Wow. All right, well, let's look at the precipitation forecast for the fall, just so people can be
And
equally
again,
depressed.
you get to see those brown colors.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: can you call my wife right now and tell her that these are actually not factual? Because she hasn't enjoyed the heat. I don't either. But to extend another couple months doesn't sound so great.
Yeah, well, again, I'm just a messenger. I don't make the weather. But what we see here is a situation where the rain, the storms are all going to be up in the northwest, and maybe also along the eastern seaboard. But our storms aren't going to come into us. We're going to be bad, probably not as bad as New Mexico and western Texas, but that also means, unfortunately, an extended fire season. We'll probably see fires even going on into the fall here.
How much does this play into our very long-term drought? Is this just an extension of that?
Well, it hurts. I mean, the summer monsoon doesn't contribute a lot to our moisture, so it doesn't really hurt or help us in terms of drought. It's the wintertime rains that are the important thing, but we're not really seeing good winter rains either.
Yeah, well, the snowpack, of course, which is what helps, but if we're not going to get that either, yeah. All right, well, let me close with a really fun question, because you more than alluded to climate change. What's the possibility of how long we're stuck with this? Is this our fate for a while here in the desert Southwest?
Well, what we've seen here now over the last 4 years is 3 of those have been particularly record-setting temperatures. When you start to see the same thing happening over and over and over again, that's a really good indication of something fundamental changing about our climate.
Okay, and Randy, finally, what should people be doing when it gets this hot? Just stay inside or go in the pool?
Yeah, try to find relief, whether that's inside an air-conditioned house or in a public library or something like that. That's what you want to try to do. Keep cool.
Randy Cerveny, great to see you even under these conditions. Thank you.